What is IELTS exactly? And how do you prepare for it? Let's find out. Now, if you are new to IELTS, you may have a lot of questions about it. Who's it for? What does it look like exactly? How do I pass? How do I prepare for IELTS? How do I even book the test? These are all great questions. I'm going to try and answer all of these questions and more in this short video so that you know whether IELTS is for you, and if it is, how to prepare the correct way. Right, let's start at the beginning. So IELTS stands for the International English Language Testing System, and it's a test of English proficiency for people whose mother tongue is not English. If you're watching this video, that's probably you, right? Who is IELTS for? Well, if you want to study or work in an English-speaking country, you'll probably need to show the university, college or workplace that you have a good control of both spoken and written English, right? IELTS can do that for you. It can show your control of English. It is accepted by, I think, over 11,000 education and training providers around the world, including more than 3,000 from the United States. Likewise, if you want to migrate to a country where English is the native language, such as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and the United States, IELTS is one of the tests you can take to show that your English is good enough. Keith, do I need British English for IELTS? This is such a common question. The simple answer is no, right? IELTS is owned by 3 partner organisations: Cambridge English, who write the test, and IDP and the British Council, who deliver the test. Cambridge English and the British Council are British. IDP is an Australian organisation that provides international education services. Interestingly, many people wrongly think that IELTS is a test of British English. It's not, right? The clue is in the name. IELTS, International English Language Testing System, right? It's international. And that means, therefore, that when you're writing, you can use American spelling or British spelling. Make sure you choose one. Don't mix them. Choose one and stick with it. In the speaking test, you can speak with an American accent, a British accent, a local accent. It doesn't matter. In fact, accent is not evaluated in IELTS speaking. Pronunciation, yes. Accent, no. If you want to find out more about the evaluation of IELTS speaking, check out this video up here. And also the listening test, well, you'll be tested on your ability to understand speakers of many countries like South Africa, Australia, Ireland, the United States, and so on. So it's very much an international test. If, like me, now and again, you're on Facebook or Instagram, you may see this question: everybody, which is easier, IDP or the British Council? Now, both organisations deliver the test, but here's the thing: Cambridge English write the test, so it's the same test. Whether you go with IDP or British Council, it doesn't matter. It's the same test. Your result will be the same. So neither are easier, right? It's not really even a question. So what does the IELTS test look like? Well, in fact, the test has 2 modules, right? You can choose either the academic IELTS or the general IELTS. Which one is right for you? Well, it depends. The academic module is the suitable one if you're going to study abroad or in an English-speaking environment at undergraduate or postgraduate level. It's also favoured by many organisations for professional registration purposes. So, for example, in the fields of medicine, nursing, accountancy, if you're going to work as a professional in those fields, you may need the IELTS Academic. The general module will be needed for those going to an English-speaking country to study below degree level. So, for example, in secondary education. For those who are going for work experience and also who need IELTS as part of a visa requirement for migration to an English-speaking country. So if you're going to migrate to Canada, Australia, New Zealand or the UK, then you'll probably need the IELTS general module. The important thing is, right, you must always check with the university or the organisation you're applying to which module you should take, right? These are guidelines, but please always double check. Now, the test, right, needs to show that you can function well in English in a variety of academic work or life settings. So each module, both the general and the academic, test 4 skills. They test your reading, your listening, your writing and your speaking skills. The academic module has a special different test for the reading and the writing because that's where the academic skills are shown more. However, the listening and the speaking is the same test for academic and general IELTS. For the speaking test, you will have an interview. It's a face-to-face interview with an examiner, a real person. It may be sometimes by video conference, but normally in a face-to-face interview, and it lasts about 11 to 14 minutes. There are 3 different parts. If you want to find out more about the speaking test in IELTS, go and check out this video up here. If you want to know more about the details of the test format for the 4 different skills, go and check out the link in the description below to find out more. Now, where can you take the IELTS test? Well, you can take IELTS with either IDP or the British Council in one of their test centres. There are centres in over 120 countries around the world. Again, you can find out where the nearest test centre to you is by clicking on the link Find the Test Centre down in the description below, or visit the IELTS.org website. You can take the test either on a computer or a paper-based test, right? For both modules, the reading, listening and writing are done at a test centre or a test venue, taking a total of 2.5 hours. So your reading is 1 hour, listening 30 minutes, writing 1 hour. And then the speaking test is done separately in the face-to-face interview, normally taking 11 to 14 minutes, as mentioned earlier. Sometimes the speaking test can also be a video conference. For the paper-based test, you'll get your score after 13 days. Normally for the computer-based test, it's quicker, right? 3 to 5 days. Which is better, paper-based or computer-based? It depends. Again, it's the same test. The reason you have 2 options is to make it fairer for you to choose the way of doing the test most suitable. So if you prefer to write with a pen or a pencil, do the paper-based test. If you're really comfortable typing and you prefer to type and work with a computer, do the computer-based test. At the end of the day, it's the same test. Now, in some countries, now you can also take the IELTS academic test online in the comfort of your home. The world is changing, right? This is only the academic test and only in certain countries. Again, there's a link below. You can find out more about it. And the online test is the same test, same format. So it's the same preparation. You just do it in the comfort of your home, which can be much more practical and convenient. just to let you know, the Keith Speaking Academy, that's me, right, is now an official IDP IELTS Online affiliate. So that means you can take the test by clicking on the link below, the IELTS Online. This means that if you book via my link, then IDP gives me a small commission, but at the same cost to you, right? You don't pay any more. So just to let you know, if you want to do that, it helps me and it's a way for you to book the test. Check out the link below. This is another common question by students. What score do I need to pass IELTS? First of all, in IELTS, there is no pass, okay? It's a proficiency test. So basically, you get a score from 0, the lowest level, up to band 9, the top level. If you're familiar with the Cambridge levels of A1, A2, B1, B2, Cambridge have done a chart over here that compares them both. The tests are different, so it's difficult, but more or less you can see here, for example, a B1 would be around 4 to 5 in IELTS, and an IELTS 7 would be around a C1, IELTS 8, C2, as an approximation. Good. So you may think, well, okay, what score do I need to study abroad in the UK, for example? Well, I'm afraid it depends, because IELTS doesn't decide. Each individual organisation chooses the score that they will accept. So a university in one city may say they require a 7 for a subject, but a university in a different city in the same country may say we will accept 6.5. Each university decides. Generally speaking, an IELTS score of between 6 and 7 is accepted by most UK universities. But it's really important that you contact the university or organisation where you're going to study and check with them what their requirement is for you. Good. Let's move on. Right, let's talk about preparing for IELTS. So this is really, really important, and I'm going to say this at the beginning to be really clear. Your main goal should be to improve your overall level of English. Once you feel you're at the right level of English, then and only then focus on exam technique and preparing for the test. You can check your level of English by working with an IELTS tutor. You can go to a platform like Cambly or italki and ask them to give you a mock test. The big mistake that many students make is to take the test too early with too little preparation. Don't make that mistake. For example, a student may be at a level of English of a band 5 in IELTS and think, well, within a month, I can get to band 7 if I prepare well. Now, in a month, yes, you can improve your exam technique, but you cannot improve your overall level of English. Not very much in a month, unless you're studying maybe 5 hours a day. Cambridge English, who create the IELTS test, experts in language learning, they recommend about 200 hours of guided study to improve your English level by 1 level on the CEFR. For example, to go from A2 to B1. 1 level on the CEFR, as we noticed earlier, is more or less 1 band in IELTS. More or less. To give you an idea, right? So my suggestion is you take a general English course first to get up to the level you need, and then focus on exam technique. Number 2, practice lots and lots. And here, if we're looking at exam technique, especially for reading, writing, listening and speaking, to understand the questions, understand the types of questions, and do lots of practice of past papers. There are lots of good past papers on the IELTS website. Cambridge English has some, British Council has some on their Take IELTS website. All the links are down below. Go and do the past papers and practice lots with those. You can also buy the Cambridge books, number 1 to 14. They're really, really useful. Number 3, do a speaking mock test. So the practice papers are good, but do a speaking mock test with an IELTS tutor. You can go to many platforms such as iTalki, Cambly, Preply, look for an IELTS tutor and ask them to give you a speaking mock test with feedback so you know where you are. Number 4, when it comes to getting information about the test, trust the official sources. Go to the IELTS website. Ignore the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, and all the YouTube posts. You don't know what's true or false out there. Go to the official sites. And I do understand the irony of me here on YouTube telling you to do that. But seriously, go and do that. You can study on your own, but I do think it's always a good idea to study with other people, to share ideas, share motivation, and work with others. Number 6, again, you can study by yourself on your own, or you can follow a course. You can take, if you're interested, one of my flagship courses for IELTS Speaking Success, Get a Band 7+ Gold. Within that, you get all the language, the strategies that you need. You join a community of like-minded people going towards their IELTS goals together. Also, on the Keith Speaking Academy, there we have courses for IELTS academic reading and IELTS writing from fellow IELTS tutors Eli and Fiona. You can go and check them out. Guess where? In the links down below. So you've done your preparation. How do you register? So when you are ready, you've got the right level of English, you've been preparing technique, then you can register to take the exam. You can register any time, but I suggest you get ready first. There are over 16,000 test locations in over 140 countries around the world. You're looking for centres run by the IDP or the British Council. You can find the nearest test centre to you on the IELTS website, then register and book your test. Again, the links are down below. By the way, if you have any special requirements, such as learning difficulties or visual difficulties or medical conditions, you must tell the test centre at least 6 weeks in advance. Okay, don't turn up on the day and tell people because they won't have time to get ready for you. Some students do ask me, I've got a stutter. Can I tell my speaking examiner on the day? No, you have to tell the test centre in advance so they can evaluate your case and see if they can make special arrangements for you. Now, on test day, the big day, the day you've been waiting for. Well, what do? First of all, the day before, rest well. The IELTS test is a marathon, right? The reading, the writing and the listening is 2.5 hours, all in one go. And then you've got the speaking, maybe on the same day, maybe a different day. But it's a really long test and you need to be fresh and focused so you can do the best that you can. Arrive early to the test centre so you're not giving yourself extra stress. If you can, immerse yourself in some English or listen to some English or read some English half an hour before the test just to get you in the mood, in the zone, in your English frame of mind, right? Do a bit of work on your mindset about being positive, doing the best that you can. My tips, especially for people who are nervous about the speaking test, is to think, I'm going to enjoy this test. Strange, but true. Just say to yourself, I'm going to enjoy this test, whatever happens. And then go and do your best. Smile and enjoy it. It'll make a big, big difference. Most of all, believe in yourself. Believe you've taken time, you've done your preparation, you're ready to go, you're going to try your best, and there's nothing more you can do. Do the test, and then after, stop thinking, relax, and wait for the results. And that's it. So listen, if you are preparing for IELTS, do go and check out the official websites for IELTS, IELTS.org, IDP and the British Council. And just to be clear, I have no official connection with IELTS, the British Council, or Cambridge English. I am an official affiliate for the IDP IELTS Online, but that's it. This video is not endorsed by IELTS. If you are looking especially for help with your IELTS speaking, go and check out my website, keithspeakingacademy.com. Lots of free resources, PDFs, videos, live lessons, and online courses that will help you on your journey. If you're taking the test very soon, well, listen, I wish you lots of luck. You've got this. I'm sure you're going to do a great job. Best of luck. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.